Bem-vindo ao English Brazil Podcast, onde o inglês encontra a cultura brasileira. Por meio de conversas reais, dicas práticas e um clima descontraído.
Apresentado por Jack e Tash, este é o seu espaço para aprender e praticar inglês de forma natural, divertida e significativa.
Coloque seus fones de ouvido, fique à vontade e junte-se a nós no English Brazil Podcast.
Okay, I have to confess something right out of the gate. You know that viral video of the emotional support kangaroo trying to board a flight?
Oh, yeah, the one that was everywhere?
Yeah, that one, with the passenger arguing for its right to get on board. Well, I absolutely bought it. Hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, you did?
Totally. And I know I'm not alone because I'm pretty sure half the internet did too.
You are definitely not alone. And that's precisely why today's deep dive is more crucial than ever. We're plunging into this constantly evolving world of artificial intelligence, specifically how it's getting shockingly, almost terrifyingly good at deceiving people online.
Right. So our mission today is really to unpack some of these recent, highly convincing AI examples that have fooled so many of us. We'll explore the sophisticated techniques that make them so realistic. And then maybe most importantly, we'll examine the broader implications. Like, what does it mean living in an increasingly AI-generated world?
Exactly. Because it's no longer just about static images, right?
Yeah.
It's dynamic, moving, almost believable narratives that challenge our very perception of reality.
It's wild how fast it's changing.
It's fascinating, isn't it? When we last discussed AI deception, maybe, just a year ago, the realism now, especially in video, is just, it's much beyond what we'd seen then.
Yeah, way beyond.
The speed of improvement in these models is truly staggering.
Okay, so let's start with the one that tricked me then. The emotional support kangaroo trying to board a flight. It was everywhere, wasn't it?
It really was.
This video showed a kangaroo in an airport, right?
Yeah.
And there's this AI-generated passenger seemingly arguing for its right to board a plane. And it was just so absurdly plausible somehow. But if you looked closely, there were little giveaways. For one, the passenger seemed to be speaking in what sounded like, I don't know, a non-existent language, like gibberish.
Right, like vaguely familiar, but not quite right.
Exactly. And then there was the kangaroo holding a boarding pass that looked strangely limp, almost like it was made of rubber or something. Did you notice those tiny details?
I did, yeah. And what's fascinating here is how these subtle details, like that oddly limp boarding pass or the garbled speech, are often the telltale signs.
Okay.
Especially when these advanced AI models, like Jan's, try to create complex real-world interactions. They're great at the overall realism, the big picture. But they frequently struggle with the nuanced physics, like how a paper boarding pass should behave, or truly coherent language generation that humans just unconsciously pick up on.
Right. We just know it sounds wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the psychology at play is that people are often so immediately impressed by the image or the concept, kangaroo trying to fly.
Yeah, it grabs you.
It grabs you. So you don't scrutinize the details or even read the captions sometimes. The motivation behind creating stuff like this is often just, for zoeira, that Brazilian term for joking or teasing, or simply to gain followers and, monetize. It's kind of a modern parallel to those older Facebook posts that used emotional stuff to get engagement.
Right, like share if you love your grandma type things.
Pretty much, yeah. Just updated for the AI age.
And the story didn't stop there, did it? With the kangaroo, there was a follow-up AI video showing the kangaroo on the plane, like seemingly boarded, and it was just sitting there casually holding this impossibly large cup of nuts.
No way, see? It just kept the viral narrative going, pulling more people into its sort of deceptive orbit, blurring the lines even further.
Totally.
Exactly. It shows how a single AI creation can just spawn an entire believable but completely manufactured story arc.
Yeah.
Wild.
Okay, another one that so many of you listening sent in, and one that I initially found myself doing a double take on, was the giant anaconda in the Amazon River.
Yes. The giant snake. That was a big.
Huge. And it really prompts us to consider, how do we even tell what's true anymore when AI blurs the lines so effectively?
That's the core question, isn't it?
Yeah. So the video showed this enormous snake in a river filmed from above by a helicopter, right? And the English caption claimed it was a giant anaconda in the Amazon. But IBAMA, Brazil's environmental agency, they officially debunked it. They pointed out the snake's size was wildly off-estimated at like 25 meters.
Right, when real anacondas only get to about, 9 meters max?
Exactly. Plus, it was floating unnaturally high on the water, and there were big scale issues, relative to the river width and the helicopter's height.
All classic giveaways if you know what to look for.
Yeah.
But what's truly interesting, and maybe makes it harder, is that a real large snake was actually sighted recently in that region. So sometimes genuine startling events can be just as bizarre as AI fakes.
Oh, wow.
Which, further complicates our ability to verify what's real and what's not. Nature can be pretty weird too.
True. Okay, so moving on. What I found particularly interesting about this next trend was how AI shifted kind of from pure deception into creative expression, often with really hilarious results.
Right.
Like AI creating beloved Disney characters as modern influencers. This one felt like pure fun.
Yeah, that was Marlon Muda's work, right?
Yeah.
With the princesses vlogging.
That's the one. He created these AR-generated videos showing classic Disney princesses, Snow White, Aladdin, Rapunzel, Cinderella, Ariel, and even the Disney husbands vlogging about their daily lives or these absurd situations. Like, you had Snow White post-Apple saying something like, "Thanks for the apple, now come on, eat it already, stop stalling." Or Tarzan, just totally unfiltered, making comments about Jane. It's wild and felt like pure, unadulterated fun.
It truly is fun, yeah. And it perfectly showcases the AI's current capabilities.
Yeah.
The visuals are almost perfect. Right?
Almost, yeah.
But if you listen closely, there's still subtle flaws, maybe in the language intonation, or tiny visual glitches, like I think Cinderella's stockings briefly disappeared and reappeared in one. Little things.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, they're subtle. But this also opens up a bigger and increasingly important discussion around AI taking existing intellectual property and transforming it.
Ah, good point.
Because while this is often done for satirical purposes, look, here it raises questions about, the economic side for the IP holders, the ethics of training AI on copyrighted stuff.
Right.
And how this trend kind of redefines fan engagement and creativity online. It's not just fan art anymore. It's this entirely new algorithmically generated content.
Okay, and speaking of AI creations becoming characters, Marisa Mayo.
Marisa, the TV presenter.
Yes, this completely AI-generated presenter of a, quote, sensationalist afternoon show created by Ronnie Phillips. She's become like a new internet icon.
She really has blown up.
She's uncanny, just like those real daytime hosts you see on TV. Her segments are incredibly vivid. You've got absurd advice from a doctor telling people to just stop having pimples.
Right, just stop.
A mother forced to give up her baby, a reporter on the streets who is, just standing on the streets doing nothing. There's even a contest to see who falls for a scam first.
Yeah.
And her voice intonation is so realistic, kind of like a dubbed American show,
Yeah, that specific cadence.
And her hand gestures are spot on for a TV presenter. It's quite something.
Her impact has been massive.
Yeah.
Millions of views, right? Coverage on major TV shows like Fantástico in Brazil. She even landed a commercial for Magalu, which is a huge retailer there.
Wow.
So this development really forces us to consider, when does satirical AI entertainment like this raise broader questions about public perception and content creations, especially when it's so convincing?
Now, where's the line?
Exactly. There was, maybe predictably, an ethical discussion around her use, specifically whether permission was needed to replicate her style for a banned TV show appearance. Ronnie Phillips did authorize that, apparently.
Okay.
And for those interested, there's also her male counterpart, Sandro Sunga, with his own kind of police show aesthetic. It's a whole universe.
A whole AI universe. Okay, so while a lot of what we've talked about so far has been amusing or maybe thought-provoking, AI's deceptive power really turns sinister when it touches real lives and reputations.
Yeah, definitely.
This next example is, I think, highly dangerous. It touches on a sensitive, real-world gossip topic, an AI-modified video of the Brazilian singer Zé Felipe.
Yes, the divorce announcement deepfake.
Exactly, where he appeared to be announcing his divorce from his wife, Virginia, because she allegedly kept promoting some gambling game even after a parliamentary inquiry.
The critical danger here, and what makes it so insidious, is that only his mouth was modified.
Right, just the mouth.
Which makes it incredibly difficult to detect. This specific technique, often called a deep fake,
Yeah.
focuses on manipulating just specific facial features.
Yeah.
So the rest of the person looks completely authentic.
And it worked, right? People believed it.
Oh, yeah. Many people believed it. It led to this flood of negative public commentary, including apparently lots of senoras, older women, expressing confusion and moral judgment online.
Wow, that's scary.
It really is. And this isn't an isolated incident. It fundamentally erodes that whole seeing is believing principle. It highlights how fragile public trust is when media can be so easily manipulated.
Has anyone fought back against this kind of thing legally?
Yes. We've seen a precedent with the artist Gret, who actually sued some online pages for using her AI-generated voice to create content she hadn't approved.
Okay.
So the critical takeaway here is, how do we protect individuals and the public when AI can so convincingly manipulate real people's words and reputations? It's a huge challenge.
Definitely. Now, shifting gears a bit to maybe a more personal side of AI, there's this surprising and sometimes maybe unsettling trend of people seeking deep emotional connection with AI.
Great companionship therapy.
Exactly. People are using AI like ChatGPT for therapy and companionship. Some are even apparently falling in love with virtual partners.
Mm-hmm.
There's this compelling case study I read about a married woman who spends, get this, our $2,000 a month, that's quite a bit of money, on a premium ChatGPT subscription just to talk to Leo, her virtual boyfriend.
Wow. $2,000 a month. What's truly fascinating here is the deep psychological need AI seems to be filling now.
Yeah.
This whole phenomenon connects strongly to that movie, Her, remember, where the guy falls in love with his AI operating system.
Oh, yeah, with Joaquin Phoenix.
That's the one. It points to a really profound societal shift happening in human-AI relationships. But, and this is crucial, there's a tragic side to consider too.
Okay.
There was that case of a 14-year-old in Florida who committed suicide after exchanging messages with an AI companion chatbot.
Oh, no, that's awful.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And it shows this isn't just about entertainment or, virtual boyfriends. It explores the potential for addiction, the dangers of AI filling such a profound emotional void without proper safeguards,
Right.
and the huge ethical responsibilities that AI developers have when they create these emotionally powerful models.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, on another sensitive note, AI is now being used for adult content creation too.
Yes, that's another complex area.
Brazilians, for instance, are apparently creating AI women for platforms like OnlyFans. And some creators are earning significant income. One reportedly made $20,000 in just 3 months.
Which brings up very serious ethical implications. Wired magazine reported a really disturbing case where hundreds of AI influencers were created using real adult content creators' videos.
Without them knowing.
Without their consent, exactly. And then sold on Patreon. The core issue is that AI is trained on these vast databases of existing content, often scraped from the internet.
So it just learns from what's out there.
Right, which means it can effectively steal and reproduce people's art, their bodies, their likenesses, without their knowledge or permission. This causes real harm to real individuals and seriously blurs the lines of consent in the digital age. It's theft, essentially.
That's deeply problematic. Okay, let's shift back maybe to the more public, viral stuff. The AI-generated images of Katy Perry at the Met Gala. I have to confess again, this was another one that truly stumped me.
Huh. You and many others.
She looked absolutely stunning in these elaborate themed outfits, But she wasn't even there in reality.
The extreme realism was astounding. The 2024 floral look, for example, apparently even fooled Katy Perry's own mother.
No way.
Yeah. And the 2025 vinyl dress on that blue staircase background, that was particularly convincing, even when you looked closer.
It really was.
Now, you might notice subtle flaws like blurry figures in the background if you really zoom in, but these images spread like crazy across online portals. Interestingly, Katy Perry's team kind of put a positive spin on it, leaning into that any publicity is good publicity idea, which itself shows the power of AI-generated virality, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess they figured lean into it. And speaking of convincing fakes that really shifted our perception, remember the viral AI Pope image?
Oh, the Pope in the puffer jacket, yes.
That felt like one of the earliest ones that really blew up and forced us all to confront this new reality, didn't it?
Absolutely. That AI-generated image of Pope Francis in that stylish white puffer jacket was incredibly significant. It was one of the first major viral AI images that widely prompted public debunking.
Right. Everyone was talking about whether it was real.
Exactly. And it directly led to platforms starting to implement those AI-generated labels we see now sometimes. It marked a real turning point in public awareness, almost like a global wake-up call. What you see online might not be real.
So it's clear now that AI isn't just creating convincing individual images anymore. It's now capable of generating entire fake narratives. From movie trailers to religious stories, we've seen things like that leaked AI Jurassic World trailer, filmed deliberately low quality to seem authentic, right?
Yeah, but with those strange dino-human hybrids and kind of stiff dinosaurs if you look closely.
Right. And remember the AI Pikachu at a protest image? That was a real event, but the iconic photo everyone shared was AI. And now there's this whole new niche of AI novellas, soap operas, including these increasingly popular AI biblical narratives.
Oh, interesting. Like what?
Like the Rapture, or Mary going to Bethlehem, or even Moses parting the Red Sea. They feel surprisingly real.
Wow. And while these narratives probably still show those common AI flaws we talked about, maybe inconsistent character sizes, strange movements, that kind of thing.
Yeah, probably.
The increasing realism is undeniable. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it shows how AI isn't just creating images anymore, but entire, compelling, albeit false stories that people are consuming as if they're genuine.
Which makes telling fact from fiction even harder.
Much harder, because you're not just evaluating a single photo anymore, but an entire manufactured reality, complete with characters, plot, emotional arcs, the whole package.
So just to recap then, we've seen this rapid, really exponential evolution of AI-generated content. It's shifted from obvious kind of clunky fakes to these incredibly convincing and sometimes really dangerous deceptions. And they're now touching pretty much every facet of our lives, aren't they? From our news feeds to our entertainment, even our personal relationships.
It's pervasive. So what stands out to you listening right now about how easily these things can fool us?
Yeah, it's a good question to ask yourself.
We really hope this deep dive encourages you to be more vigilant. Always question. Always try to verify information you encounter online, especially maybe when it seems too good or too bad or just too absurd to be true. Take that extra second.
And believe me, if someone like myself, who's clearly been caught out a few times now,
join the club.
If I can learn to spot these tells and start questioning, then everyone listening can too. It's just a muscle we all need to start building, I think.
Indeed. Which leads to the final thought. Given this exponential leap in AI's ability to create convincing realities in just 1 year, what does this truly mean for our understanding of truth, of authenticity, of trust in information?
Big questions.
Huge. And how will we as a society even define real in a world where almost anything can be manufactured and distributed globally with just the click of a button? Something to think about.
E esse foi o episódio de hoje do English Brazil Podcast. Esperamos que você tenha curtido e aprendido alguma coisa nova.
Se você gostou, não esquece de dar aquele joinha, seguir o canal e ativar o sininho para não perder os próximos episódios.
Toda semana, a gente traz conversas reais, dicas práticas e curiosidades da cultura brasileira. Tudo em inglês, é claro.
E se quiser sugerir um tema ou mandar um comentário, é só falar com a gente nas redes sociais ou nos comentários aqui embaixo.
Obrigado por estar com a gente hoje.
See you next time, and remember, keep learning, keep listening, and keep having fun. Bye!